space development has to be understood in essence by the way it works, by the way it is. We look at the flight with the aircraft, we look at the flight with a spaceship, but the original flight, the original movement of any structure comes from the flight and movement of the magnetic field. If we understand the movement of the magnetic field, then we can understand how the rest is created, how the rest come to exist, how everything else become to creation, life, solid matter, plasmatic condition of intelligence, as we will see in space, and the rest of it. In this process, especially in past couple of months and past week, there's been a lot of concentration on the 5 cups. The cup of humanity, or what we call animal kingdom, the cup of vegetation, the cup of the set for solid state matters, the cup for gaseous and liquid. This has brought a lot of anxieties and a lot of questions, and some of the people who are scaremongering have used it to create a scare across the Keshe Foundation, that throw your cups away and do every other thing, because don't forget, we've seen this scaremongering before. Every time we were correct, they started the scaremongering because it served their purpose. Enemies of the Keshe Foundation sat within the Keshe Foundation, and in that process we become wise. They showed us with their way of trying to create the scaremongering where knowledge seekers have not understood. So we have to explain. For them to understand, unknown scares you. Known is a knowledge which has and strengthens your, what we call, trust in what you do. What I want to do today is very simple. I start for you in a basic condition that you understand. As we know, can I go on the screen? As we said, the whole structure of the world creation comes from movement of what we call magnetic fields. Magnetic fields only travel with one way, and that is if the field strength from the point of stronger, it creates a gradient that the stronger field trying to reach the weaker point, it creates its movement. In so many ways, in the history of science of man, no one ever understood why and how magnetic fields flow, how and why magnetic fields travel in a direction, in a certain speed, and how this speed is seen by detection system, but not by the eye of the man. In so many ways, there has been a secret, which is actually within the secret of the creation of the magnetic fields themselves. Mankind, or any creatures of the universe, depending on the strength of the creation of their own field, only can see what is visible to them. Only can see what is or has physical manifestation. But mankind and the totality of the knowledge of the universe sits and lies in what the mankind cannot see, what is not and has not been visible to him. In a way, the work in the background, which humanity and the rest of the creatures of the universe do not see, creates the puzzle of the motion of the magnetic field. In the universe, in a condition of creation of magnetic fields and creation of the motion in them has and possesses an invisible, what we call field dimension, what you call atmosphere, what we call magnetosphere. What does this mean? Is that even though the field look to us and is moving in the direction, but itself, due to inherited characteristics of what we brought into the discussion last time, the wave of photons and particles, the particle itself creates a massive atmospheric condition around itself, which in that atmospheric condition, higher order fields travel in the depth of it much faster than the light we see. So, in fact, we are puzzled why a light moves in a certain direction. Where is the gradient from? The gradient is created by its own internal magnetic magnetosphere condition, which pulls it in that direction. If you look at it, the rays of the sun expand beyond and create Jupiter and Saturn and the seeds for the future generation of the planet. What the world of science has not understood is that the light, as what you call particle, creates a massive magnetosphere which is far beyond the vision sight of the man and other creatures. So it has, by inherent condition of its creation, has created the magnetic field forces within itself that allows the light to travel within that magnetosphere. So if you look at it, it sends a hidden field ahead of itself, and then by inherent coherent condition and interaction of the fields within the structure of the what we call particle, tries to feed it. In a way, if you understand it, is like you shooting an arrow and then running to catch it. As simple as that. The creation of the motion and expansion of the universe is done on this basis. And to the point where the field can keep interaction, gravitational magnetic field force with its origin, then the fields become in motion. Magnetic fields become in motion. Then the structure finds movement. This is how universe expands. This is how everything else moves within the universe. Somebody has left this one behind. In this process, now we understand how the light is created. In a way, the plasma of the source trying to reach the field which has created by a higher order magnetic gravitational field of itself creates the condition of the motion of the fields in a particle. If this understood, everything else about the world of creation becomes much easier. In a way, is a magic show that now we have opened a secret. In a way, what happened, the whole creation started with one field, interaction of one existence, the creator. And in spreading the fields itself, in the dimension of the higher order traveling faster than the physical dimension of the matter states or plasma states, made the light or the fields to manifest and show its direction, trying to catch up to the arrow. For the first time in the world of science, we understand the principle of the motion of the light. If this is very hard for you to understand, always find a copy, always find a replication that it makes it easier. In the interaction of the fields in upper atmosphere, plasmas are created, some as photon and some as particle, some as wave, and in that process, in being pulled by a weaker arrow which has already arrived in the center of the planet, the photon travels to it. And in that process, not only releases what we call photons, but it releases the condition for creation of the materials in the motion of its own plasma, leading to creation of matter state. Once we understand this, once we grab the science behind it, intellectually analyze it, we'll find that mankind has opened the door to a new way of transportation. I throw the arrow, it's part of me, try to catch it, I arrive. But you have to understand this process of transportation needs massive amount of understanding. Some of the travelers of the universe have already achieved it. And it's for mankind to reach to that point. In a way, chasing your own tail in the new dimension, but this time the tail moves faster because of the higher strength, and as it loses strength, it becomes a point of reference for you to arrive at. In so many ways, mankind needs to look in a direction and a position, and that direction and position become its destination and the speed of travel into it, and arrive at the zero time and space. In so many ways, those of you who are in understanding of the space technology and space travel should have seen this coming to you very easily. In this process, once you arrive, what is the surplus of the position of the fields you left behind in the gravitational magnetic fields you have created become the matter states and creation of matter around you. So now at the point of reference, you become the center. And if you need, want, will collect what you have left behind as they arrive to you in different strength as copper, zinc and water and the rest. In a way, by the release and approach to the point of destination, you have created all matters that is in the strength of your own consumption and use. Now you understand the process of the creation. Now you understand how planetary systems are created. You understand how every other structure in the universe is created. Start with one. And in be able to send higher order fields, which is not visible to us, in losing the strength in interaction with the field of other parts and particles and waves and photons and fields in the universe, in the slowing down, now they have a gravitational magnetical connection with you, and you trying to arrive to it, you become the center of it. You become the totality of what we call the principal section of it. This process brings a lot of new conditions and new understanding. So, can we go on camera? Are we live? Yeah. So, in a way, as the field comes at a given strength, the field as a particle has already forwarded. Why can't I get the colors? No, I don't have the colors. Is it out of the range of the... It stays only with green. We need to adjust it. It's out of zone. Yeah, okay. It is out of focus by quite a lot. We can adjust it. Okay, that's good enough. At least we can start. Okay, thank you very much. So, what we get, this is a photon, or particle I should say, which is moving. But with it, in advance of it, higher order has been sent ahead. So, in a way, this particle is chasing to reach this point. Because if this has order of magnitude of 10, this has a magnitude of 100 or 1,000. So moves faster ahead because comes from the stronger inner center. In a world of cosmology, we call them cosmic rays. We call them neutrinos. And then as the particle tries to catch up in its environment, this is totally lost today. Okay. No, it's gone. Can I have this bar at the bottom, please? Yeah. This one. Can I have a pink one? Yeah. Thank you. So, in a way, I shoot the arrow of a higher order, and as it loses strength to 1, now I try to catch up. And I create direction of the fields of the motion. This is how we see magnetic fields move, because in that process, how the original motion started. Now the universe is full of fields, and in that process, we don't see this operation so visible. But in a way, we see it in macro and micro, both the same, in the motion of the creation of the light at the upper atmosphere and its attraction due to its strength to fulfill the need of the center of the planet as light. And then in that process, particles themselves, according to change of the strength in trying to reach the center of planet, in interaction with a different field, the strength of the fields of inside of the planet, lead to creation of the matter. And then, as matter has both gravitational and magnetic field forces, it becomes matter and inertia of the matter. Now we understand the process. Now we are aware of the reality of the creation, which maybe up to now were not understood. I need a space here. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much. And in that process, now we come to one thing. This light, this particle, now by slowing down in the point of arrival, creates its own plasma. And if we create enough magnetic field by pulling from different dimensions and directions of the same strength, which mostly exists across the universe, we create the seed of a planet. This is what we call the principal matter. This is what we call the center core. This is what we call the where the field interaction brings gravity and magnetic fields. Now, this is your first point, first point of reference, what we call MAGRAP. You created the gravitational magnetic field of it. Now, in the rest of the universe, an interaction with the fields of the sun, which continuously feed into it, and other sources of cosmos, which continuously feed it. The center core, can I have a different color, please? Any color. Now, the fields in slowing down will create matter state. And this matter state expands. The size of the planet expands by interaction of the fields of the sun and the earth. And now these themselves carry as had the fields and convert into the matter state, create the transition of inertia. So now you have not only MAGRAP, you have inertia too. Then the rest of the interaction of the inertia with the gravitational magnetic fields. And can I have a different color, please? And the fields around the planet. In a way now you have two fields, plus now the environment which they have created leads to creation of matter state. So now this matter state has a condition in a solid, liquid, or whatever, depending on the interaction of the inertia and MAGRAP of the system. Then in that process, depending where this matter state sits and its center, it leads to the creation of the soul, of its own physicality. And in the total interaction of the fields in different mixtures leads to the totality of what we call, can I have another color, please? The soul of physicality in respect to interaction of totality of the matter state and the fields. Now we understand why we have the 5 cups. So if you understood this and you understand the theology and the point of the creation, becomes very easy to understand. How you create which one gives you what you need. If you create the strength of the gravitational magnetic field of the Earth, anywhere in the universe, you connect to Earth. If you create gravitational magnetic field of the inertia of a given location of the Earth, you go to that point. It's the universal GPS system, not only for the position, but for exact condition and the strength that you land on. The reason we put the 5 cups out was what we call the stepping stones for you to understand the start of the creation of life anywhere in the universe. You want to go to planet Mars, you have to create a condition of magravity of the Mars in your system. Now, the same as the light, as you saw, matching with the light of his past, you travel to that position, to that destination. Can you go backwards, please, slightly? That way, just slightly. In that reference, we saw how everything moved to reach to this point. Now, this point for you is this. What the interaction of the environment, of the fields, thank you very much, creates, gives you this one. You want to land in Tehran, you create not only GPS position, you call it a gravitation of the Earth, you create the inertia where the total field of the matter state of Tehran was made of. So not only you come to Earth, but you end in the position of Tehran. Be it New York, be it Beijing, is all the same. Because the inertia is different. That's why we have different matter states in everything else. Then you want to appear or produce in that position in a dimension of the physicality of the man. The soul of the man has a spectrum range. So you come from planet, whatever, you had a different structure, you create the soul of the man in the strength of the planet. You take the feature of the man. Then you decide in what soul and physicality you manifest yourself. This is the beauty of the creation, if you understand it. Those who tell you to throw the 5 cups away means throw the knowledge of the creation away. Of course, we have seen this from the enemies of the foundation, because they know you are reaching to the point of maturity. And by slaving you, as they've done for centuries and thousands of years, they can still rule you. The knowledge of creation is simple. The knowledge of creation is so beautiful that now we have the plasma technology that we can create different strengths of magravity, different strengths of inertia, different strengths of the matter state. We can produce anything, any position, and travel to any destination in the universe. Throw the cups up, your nation will suffer to absolute poverty, as the ones who understand will rule you. And this is the whole, those who say that. They slaved you for centuries. Now they see the key of freedom given by the foundation. They have come up with the new tricks. You're a simple man like me, simple to understand. Now you understand how in a coming time you will travel the depth of the universe. Now, by understanding the soul of the cancer, the soul of whatever disease you have, you can create his field, the strength of his matter state and his soul. Seconds done. As the head of the Keshe Foundation said, explain to them that they understand. When they don't understand, they're open to abuse. Now you understand. And if you look at it, if you really understand and go back to the origin of the teaching, can I have a black color, please? It's simple. Very simple. Principle matter, transition, and the matter state, if you want to think in either way. There is no change in the knowledge which we transferred. Now you have to decipher. When you're on Earth, you have what you call fixed gravitational magnetic fields. When you are on Earth and you want to go from New York to Washington, or from New York to Tehran or another point, you create only the inertia part fields. And you be within Earth and you arrive at that point. And then if you are on Earth and you have the same gravitational magnetic field and inertia, that in, let's say, in New York, you want to create the fish, which is the same taste as the fish you had in Tehran. Now you create the condition of the inertia which applies and implies in Tehran, and then you get the same fish. With a new understanding of the technology, there is no genetic modification. It is the truth. In a way, you create a condition and the soul will fit into it to fulfill it.